What is good, everybody? Man, it's your boy Jay in the building. We is back again with another video, man. Now, before we get this video started, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys share this video. We are talking about the Swag and MEAC challenge that is coming up next week, man. Football is finally arriving. Real football, like football that counts. I mean, like college football that is about to start very soon, man. Week 0. I'm absolutely excited. So excited, man. Finally, man. Now, we are talking South Carolina State at the moment, man. Now, there's not a lot of people that's really talking about South Carolina State, but we're gonna talk about them for a little bit. Now, 2023 South Carolina State Bulldogs. They are going to be an interesting bunch to watch. If we go back 2 years ago, they were a complete team, both offense and defense. On the offensive side, you have Kajal Flowers, who was a first-team all-conference performer, had almost 1,000 yards rushing with like 13 touchdowns, 13 total touchdowns. You had two receivers that complemented each other in Will Vereen and Shaq Davis. Corey Fields did some good things here and there. You had like 3 or 4 all conference performers on the offensive line. Now, I mean, them boys were big. On defense, man, they were absolutely dominant all across the board. They went undefeated in the MEAC, won the Celebration Bowl, had Shedeur Sanders, all kinds of crazy looking out there, man. And they were very dominant 2 years ago. And last year it was a completely different story. They went 3-8. They did beat Central, in which I wasn't at the time. It wasn't a surprise because we had them in the top 3 going into that season. And then after they beat Central, they just completely fell off the map. They were heavy relying on Shaq Davis. Kajal Flowers wasn't. He didn't get as many touches or as many yards as he did a year ago, and Corey Fields became unplayable at times to the point where Tyrese Nick had to come in and try and be a spark offensively. So this team here, the 2023 team here. Oh, and I've got to talk about in 2021 when they had their secondary led by Kobe Durant were complete shutdown. He was also MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. Went off to get drafted by the LA Rams. So fast forward into 2023. This team is going to look very different. No BJ Davis, he transferred out. No Kajal Flowers, he transferred out. So no Shaq Davis, he's in the NFL. So offensively, they are going to look very, very different. Now, I have a lot of questions offensively for this team. Who's going to be their go-to guy at the receiver position? I know they have Richard Bailey and they have Raheem White. They're going to need more than that. Now, they do have some big bodies on this team that they can go to. They have Nigel Johnson, who's 6'5". They have a couple, 6'4" guys, on this team as well. But a lot of young guys, a lot of young receivers. So I'm really going to be interested in seeing how they're going to look at the running back spot. Now, I'm hearing that, look, they have a bunch of Tyler Smiths on this team. They have like 2 or 3 Tyler Smiths on this team. And 2 of them play running back, and I think one of them play DB. So, but I'm talking about the Tyler Smith that wears number 10. From what I'm hearing, I think he might be the starter. But they have a lot of young guys at their running back spot. So it's gonna be very interesting to see who's gonna get the nod, who's gonna be running the ball the majority of the time. But one thing that I can say about this team is that on both sides of the ball, their front line might be their best unit. Like on the offensive line, they have a couple all conference performers on each side of the ball in terms of big men. I like Nick Taste and I like Cam Johnson. Both of those guys are first team, are potential first team all conference performers. Both preseason all conference performers heading into this year. And defensively, like I said before, losing B.J. Davis was a big thing. That was their vocal leader, their leader on defense. He was their leading tackler. He was also their leading guy in interceptions. So they're gonna have to replace a big part of their defense from last year. Now, they do have Aaron Smith at linebacker, who is coming into this year as a preseason first team all conference player. And they do have a guy in Aiden Weber who is a transfer from Delaware State who had a pretty good season for them last year. But their front four guys, like their big men, they have some pretty dominant guys down there themselves. They got Jay Green still coming in his final year. They got Pat Godbolt. They have Octavian Minner. They got Brandon Tucker. They got Najon Barber. And they also have Jared Kirksey. Like, they have some guys on the front line who can not only get after the passer, but can stop the run. I'm not worried about their front six at all. Like, I think that's probably their best unit on that side of the ball. Now in the secondary, that's where things are gonna get interesting for me. Now one guy that they do have that I know that's gonna bring it is Jalen Evans. He's from that championship year 2 years ago, and he still brings the boom. So I'm excited to see what he does. They have Malcolm McGee coming from Alcorn State. Now I'm real interested in seeing Marcus Bradley. I watched his highlights from his senior year of high school, and he redshirted last year. So I'm pretty interested to see what he does if he does get some time. I think Jordan Watkins he played some last year as well, and DeMarcus Doe. I think he might get some time, but I'm just interested to see what their secondary looks like. Not speaking, on Jalen Evans, because I know Jalen Evans is gonna bring it. He's a problem. So I'm just real interested to see what that secondary looks like heading into this year, especially with them losing Zion Keith, who was really good for them last year. So heading into this game, they really have nothing to lose, honestly. Now, I know they probably not going to be favored heading into this game, but and their schedule for the next 3 games is absolutely brutal. After Jackson State, they turn around and they play UNC Charlotte. Then the week after that, they play Georgia Tech. So that's gonna be very, very interesting to see, man. But I'm excited for this team. Now, Corey Fields. I said all that, and Corey Fields is gonna have to be the guy on this team. Like, this team is gonna go as far as Corey Fields take him. I know he threw three touchdowns, 3 or 4 touchdowns in the Celebration Bowl 2 years ago. I mean, but the first half he had a horrible game, and even last year he didn't play well at all last year. Like I said before, he was unplayable most times. I don't even think he threw for 2,000 yards last year. So this year, I think this is his last year. He's going to have to play a lot better. He's going to have to play like a leader, because it's him and then a bunch of freshmen at the quarterback spot. So he's going to have to be the leader of this team, of that offense, and he's going to have to lead them to where he wants to take South Carolina State. Because, like I said before, man, like, their offensive weapons are slim to none, honestly. Like, I'm really going to be interested in seeing who's going to be those guys at the receiver spot. I'm very interested. So, but I can't wait to see what South Carolina State has to offer heading into next week's game, man. And we're going to see what happens, man. But like I said before, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We will talk about Jackson State in a little bit, man. But I appreciate y'all for listening, man.